Movie Holics! What up, guys? I'm Kyler Wilson.
I'm Monica Kasaric.
And this is another episode of Before
The After.
and the After. Frontier Edition.
Frontier Violence.
Revenant!
Rated R. Rated R for Frontier Violence.
Woohoo!
Is that a stormtrooper balloon? That's pretty cool, and I kind of want one.
Anyways, we're here to talk about the Revenant. What do we know?
It's Leonardo DiCaprio.
And your man.
Tom Hardy.
So I think I had a couple people tell me that they wish they hadn't seen any previews for it, and I can see where that could have been beneficial. But the previews for this movie have gotten me psyched.
I feel like I've only seen the same preview over and over.
There's at least 2 releases that we've seen, and the first one we were like, "What the hell's going on?" The second one was the first time we saw the bear, and we were like, "Holy shit!"
Oh yeah, the movie theater one. Okay.
So yeah. Anyways, they're both really enticing. I can see where not seeing either one of them would make this movie pretty spectacular, though. I'm still excited about it.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this goes down.
My one fear is that
I hope it's not slow.
what's the director?
Alejandro.
Birdman director. Bardeen? No. Anyways, doesn't matter. Birdman director. My one fear is that he'll get gimmicky with his camera work and do kind of a Birdman-esque sort of thing, which I don't want in this film. Other than that, I think it's going to be freaking awesome. I'd be shocked if I come out of the theater and I'm not happy.
And yeah.
So.
It's just almost one of those ones where you look at it and you know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Like I said, I hope it's not entirely slow. Probably sad.
We're gonna get dinner first, and we might have some time to kill, so maybe you'll see us traverse the Books a Million or something of that nature. Been told that I need to read the Ender's Game. That the book is amazing.
That movie?
Yeah.
With the little kid?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't wait.
But it's a book.
I
need
know.
to read. Anyways, that's all I got. You got anything else?
No.
See you on the flip side. Monica doesn't seem to grasp the seriousness of the situation. We just found Laurel and Hardy, the complete collection. What do you have to say for yourself?
I'm smelling candles.
I am so excited about this. If you've never watched Laurel and Hardy, you should go do it now, as quickly as you possibly can. Funniest stuff ever. I missed them so much, and this is like the complete collection, fully remastered. I'm excited.
Alright, so this is my current bag now. And then I just found this bag. Upgrade you. Let me upgrade you. Oh my god, I think I'm gonna get this. This is so cute.
Oh, this is what happens when you go to a movie 2 hours early.
Okay, wait, there's so many other options. Wait, I gotta come back. We'll keep that in our mind. I can't believe I've never been in this store. I thought it was a kid's store. Just
Gotta check out this epic mirror. Y'all, I'm too emotional. There were 6 times at least that I teared up.
from the beginning to the end.
Within the first 10 minutes, I was tearing up.
What
What'd you think?
Why did it make you tear so much, especially in the beginning? What was it?
It was just too much beauty. It was too much. I couldn't handle it. I'm telling you what, that was something else for me. Like, that was a roller coaster, man.
I'm almost curious. I'm curious. I think I might want to read the book just because there was so much scenery in there. I'm wondering if it was expressed that way in the book, or if it just kind of turned into that vision by
the book,
Alexander Inarritu.
The book is based on the true events of it's like a bunch of frontier stories that kind of all got put together into one cohesive story.
Oh.
So I doubt that you're gonna get that kind of imagery from the book.
Gotcha.
That's just my guess. I mean, I don't know. It could be the most amazing imagery in a book ever, but man, I'm telling you what, like the way
It's so cold, my glasses are fogging.
I do have a few technical gripes that I'll just save for the discussion, but God bless. I'm telling you what.
Shit.
What are you doing, bro?
I'm just like, why the fuck do you stop at a turn? Dum-dums, I don't even know who to blame.
This fucking guy right here. Anyways,
I was like,
man,
yeah.
you should go see this movie.
I know. Because, oh Lord, by the grace of God,
I'm telling you what, you should
this
go see this
man. Whoo, I ain't seen a man go through so much junk since Maximus Decimus Meridius, or I don't even know.
I know, man.
Goku.
I will. Okay, so we've sat on it for a day. Just kidding. We came right home to do this discussion. This movie was intense. It was crazy, and we're going to get into it. But I want to touch on the previews real quick. London Has Fallen. What do you think?
I'll probably watch it
In theaters?
on a rainy day from Redbox.
From Redbox. We'll probably
Because
end up
something about
seeing
it intrigues me. I don't know what.
Well,
Maybe
it's
because it's
Gerard
action.
Butler. I mean,
and
come
I
on.
love action movies. So.
It's Olympus Has Fallen the first time, but now it's London Has Fallen. So it's it's gonna be good. Probably wouldn't normally see it in theaters. Sorry, there's a little dog traipsing around here.
She's like, I want more food.
Probably wouldn't normally see it in theaters, but we might see it to review. Captain America, we've already touched on enough. Yes, it's gonna be good. Hail Caesar. All right, now you've seen the same preview twice. What do you think?
I'm more intrigued.
It caught you better the second time around?
It did. So I'll definitely watch it. I don't think I'll watch it in theater, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a theater movie, but...
I think it's literally like Redbox and we chill. Or
Redbox and chill?
Redbox and chill.
I probably wouldn't normally see a movie like this in theaters either, but it might be a fun one to review, I think. Who knows? It's another Coen Brothers film. I think it's probably going to be pretty good. The Conjuring 2. I think you're into this one, and I'm just...
I'll probably end up watching because I usually watch those type of movies.
It's just like so cheap, man. It's like you can hear the cues of like drop all the audio out real quick so we can set up this jump scare. Jump scare. It's just
I don't know. It's just the carrying on of the story. It's so funny how they always end up with sequels with these movies nowadays. These horror
and they're all
movies.
based on true events, and it's all from the same two people who were proven to be frauds in the 70s. I'd skip it. But she will go.
I'm not gonna go to the theater. I'll probably watch it on Netflix.
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. This movie looks fantastic.
Only because why is it?
You combine sluts and zombies, and you've got yourself a #1 hit movie.
Can we be practical about Can we be practical? Can we be practical about how we dress when we fight zombies?
Well, here's the better thing: is like it's a period piece and everything, and like look at how revealing all the stuff. It's like, come on, it's not.
And
it's
I
not
know the book
period.
was first. Fine.
Was it?
And I know, yeah, and I just didn't know they were doing a movie. There's a whole bunch of them apparently now, but I understand they wore certain things back in the day, but the preview itself just made it look like nothing but watch these hot chicks battle zombies.
Exactly. I kid, of course.
I feel like the only person that wears a legit outfit when fighting zombies is Mila Jovovich in Resident Evil.
I think this movie is probably going to be really fun, though. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's a zombie film. And clearly Frankie doesn't agree with me. But, by and large, I think it's going to be a fun film. It's,
I don't know are we going to go see it in the theater?
I don't know. It depends on what comes out.
There's going to be a bunch of teenagers in there.
Probably. It's not rated R, right?
Nothing wrong with teenagers, but sometimes y'all talk a lot and y'all be using y'all's phones at inconvenient moments.
And speaking of which, the adults are no damn better. This movie...
Old people are like kids at the movie theater.
Jeez. Independence Day 4. Skip.
I skipped it before it even
I skipped it.
Screenplay out.
And then you hear that Will Smith brought tears to his eyes when he found out what happened to his character. And I'm like, you turned it down. You turned down the role. What did you think was gonna happen?
Maybe he's learned his lesson from After Earth.
He would have been fine in this. I mean,
I think it would definitely brought the bigger audience back. Like,
yeah, I'd probably be behind it.
No interest at all.
And then lastly, Deadpool again, and I mean, at this point, I'm done with the previews. I want to see the film.
Get it. You're making a different kind of comic book film. Everybody's already gonna go see it. How many more previews do we need of it?
Well, this one, it's not like a new preview. This came out a few weeks ago, and
how many reminders do we need?
But yeah, that being said, I'm ready to see the film.
Like every damn day, there's something on Facebook. Deadpool pulls a cat out of a tree. Deadpool does this. Deadpool does this. All right, we get it, guys.
Moving on. Damn. Jeez, Deadpool. All right, so that was the previews. Pretty short this time around, and they were all films that we had seen before. Frankie. Shh. So that being said, that was the previews. Nothing really all that new. If I had to say I was excited about any one of the films that were on here, it'd be London Has Fallen, and I'm not very excited about that film. So, anyways, moving on. Let's get into the movie. So I guess what I want to talk about first is, so this is gonna be mostly spoiler filled, I think, because the preview didn't do it did a great job of keeping the plot from you, which means it didn't do a very good job at describing to you what the movie was about.
No, I felt like one of the previews I saw pretty much tells you what's happening.
There's a basic plot, but it from beginning to end, I mean, there's some in detail stuff. You know, the basic general plot is, guy has a son. They're out on, like a hunting expedition, in the frontier. It never listed a year, did it? And he has beef with this one dude. And long story short, the dude ends up, he gets left for dead, and his son gets murdered, and so it becomes this whole revenge story. That much you could have found out from at least one preview, but I wish I could turn back time right now and tell you, don't watch any previews. Go into it blind. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's neither here nor there. So the very first thing for me, I'm gonna just be 100% honest. I teared up like 6 times, 7 times. One of which almost turned into a full out cry.
He had Interstellar reactions to this movie.
Yeah, I did the same thing with Interstellar, and I've only ever done that with 2 movies now.
But this one was more. You did more with.
It was so let's start with the first thing, the opening of this film. It just blew me away, and it made me extreme. It set the tone for me to be emotional the rest of the movie, because you've got these intense long shots. Now, I said I hope that he doesn't do any of this gimmicky like long shot stuff. Well, you know what? He did all that gimmicky long shot stuff, but it worked so well. Like, it didn't. See, like with Birdman, this is what I was kind of wishing that I'd gotten out of Birdman. Even though Birdman is a technological marvel in the way that they were able to cut everything together, that was all gimmicky to me. So I would have preferred a movie cut, like a Birdman cut like this. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I would have expected I would have wanted a Birdman cut kind of like this, where you've got these long shots, but you're still cutting when it's appropriate to cut. And that's what this movie ended up doing. So, again, back to the opening, you've got these intense long shots, and Leo DiCaprio is like their trackers, this group's tracker, and they've got like 45 men or something like that, right? And they end up getting attacked by Native Americans, and arrows are flying all around, and you're like catching, like you're following this guy, and the camera's tracking with him, and then he goes down, and somebody else starts crossing this way, and the camera starts going back, and then it goes in, and it goes back, and then it goes in and back, and in and back, and then they start reducing the audio volume of the world, and they start increasing the volume of the music, and it just started swelling and swelling and swelling, and then all these people are just like, an arrow takes him out, an arrow takes him out, like Will Poulter at one point, like that's when it really started, when he went under the water and he ends up getting saved by Tom Hardy. That was when it was like I can't explain it, man. It was intense. It was intense. She thinks I'm crazy, but it was just so emotional. It was such an emotional scene, and the way that they cut it all together, and it was an experience. What'd you think of the opening?
I feel like it was good. I mean, I liked the way they did the camera work through the entire movie. They did that same thing where it was just constantly gliding into a different thing as you're watching something. So the main one that stuck out for me is when it's all going down and the camera all of a sudden just slides onto the main Indian's face and he's like floating through there. Like, it was just so seamless the way the camera was worked. Even at the end, like the main fight scene, it's like seamless. Like, I'm like, was that one shot?
It wasn't, but God, bless it if it didn't feel like a lot of times, because there were times where they like definitely cut, but it again, this is kind of what I wish I'd gotten with Birdman, is like it felt fluid in this, but when there was no reason to keep the camera moving, they would cut away and they would go to something else. You know what I mean? Which about half the time throughout Birdman, I just wanted to say, would you please cut it? You know. There's no reason for the camera to be moving right now. This movie did very good at that. So that's all I've got to say about the opening, and that's what set the tone for me. And then we'll get into the rest of it. Anything else for you?
No, like I said, the long shots. Like I said, that was I don't know. That was my worry, because I like the way Birdman was done, but with the long shots, I'm just like, okay, it's like waiting for your screensaver to change.
I won't say that I dislike the way Birdman was done, because clearly I enjoyed Birdman,
right, yeah.
and I recommended it to pretty much everybody. But in hindsight, it was just one of those things where I was like, sometimes there were moments where you just should have cut away, and you should have been looking at something else, you know? This movie was the perfect, like, because I like long shots too. This was the perfect, like, blend. She's still a little sick, by the way, so she's probably going to cough a little bit throughout. So let's get into the acting, because I think that's probably going to be one of the biggest talking points of the film. Who do you think took the cake?
All of them did really well. I think even though Leo is, it spouted off, his acting was amazing. It is. There's no doubt about it. But I think Tom Hardy opened up a little bit more.
I gotta agree with you.
It really, to be honest with you, came down to him being.
And there were scenes that he delivers his lines, like when he's talking about, and again, mostly spoiler filled here, when he's talking about being scalped, where it's like you suddenly, now clearly that's partly due to writing, and thank God that they wrote it that way, because he became a slightly sympathetic character, but his delivery of it, man, I was like, I kind of get where you're coming from, man. And those are the best kinds of stories for me, and that's again another reason why I was so emotional through the whole thing, because it's tragic. You got this dude who's just, at the end of the day, he's just trying to make it a living,
right?
And he's trying to stay alive. He has the best line in the movie. He says, life. What life? I ain't got no life. All I do is live. Or I've got to live in, or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's so perfect.
He definitely stood out. Because I think, like I said, we got to see a little bit more of him than usual. The usual.
And he wasn't like the pretty boy in this. He wasn't like the, because sometimes he gets cast in those roles where it's like, they just wanted somebody who looked decent for the role, Yep. He wasn't cast for his looks in this film at all.
That's at all.
He had some absolute standout moments. Now, people are going to ask about who should anybody win an Oscar? And yeah, sure, there are Oscar-worthy performances here, but the Oscars are such BS in the first place, you know. So
it's ultimately the Oscars go to movies that people don't watch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just all in favor to what's hot at the moment.
It's true, man. It's true. I mean,
let's be real about this.
Even when American Beauty won, nobody had seen American Beauty that I knew when it happened. I didn't see it for probably a year and a half afterwards, and most people I knew had never seen it, and everybody was pissed off that Sixth Sense got beat. In hindsight, American Beauty should have beat it out for Best Picture, but that conversation is neither here nor there. So. Surprise performance was Domhnall Gleeson, which we talked about a little bit. So he plays the captain of this expedition. Now, there were times where I was a little confused on if these were just like guns for hire or if they were a militia or an army or something. You know what I mean? But I get the feeling that they were guns for hire.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And Domhnall Gleeson is the boss, and he had a really great... Man, this guy just came out of nowhere, too. I'd never seen him before Ex Machina. You saw him on what?
Before Black Mirror, one of the episodes. And, yeah.
He's killing it.
I guess when you got it, you got it. Because he's not the pretty boy, and he's not like... He's kind of like the guy next door that you really don't...
Right.
Pay attention to. But he's just always there. But you kind of like him there. Yeah.
But man, he did really good. I mean, I will say that he, you know, if you had to rank the performances, I'd say he's the worst best actor that we saw. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, and I guess because I feel like maybe his part wasn't that.
It wasn't at the forefront of, I mean, clearly
right.
The story was DiCaprio's and Hardy's. And again, I think it's a close run here between Hardy and DiCaprio, but I really got to go with you and give it to Hardy.
Like I said, like Tom Hardy really opened up a little bit more.
Right.
He seems to keep opening up more and more. Sorry, there was something I meant to look up. The Son. Man, this is basically his first movie. There aren't many Indian actors.
He might not be Indian.
Oh, well, it says he was like something.
Will Poulter. This is the first time that I've seen him in what I would consider a serious film. You know, because like Maze Runner's like a teen. Up. Yeah, this is like an adult movie. And I've got to say, it did good.
Yeah, it made me think that okay.
Yeah,
he'll be all right.
It's like the first time where I was like really sold on him as an actor, you know. So
his eyebrows are still crazy, but
his eyebrows are still crazy, and he has that like puffy upper lip.
Yeah.
It was so funny at one point in the movie. Yeah. You can't see his mustache at any point in the film, but he got it frozen in the film,
so
and it was the funniest thing ever. The unintentional comedy.
Oh god,
of a serious
hilarious.
film. I don't have anything else to say about the acting, really.
No.
I think everybody did great. Mm-hmm. I mean, every side character did awesome.
Right.
You know, the world felt the actors really made the world feel seamless. You know, if I had to harp on any one thing, it would be Domhnall Gleeson's accent, and that's just me being an ass.
I didn't like it. I hate that they gave him an American accent.
Yeah, I
kind of wish he just had his regular.
Yeah, because the thing is, he didn't sound like everybody else. He
really
sounded
didn't.
too proper, I think.
And maybe that's because his dad was a doctor, and
maybe so. You know,
but he did sound almost too proper to where it didn't fit with everybody else's talking.
But that's me being an asshole.
That's just little things.
So, anyways, moving on. So, one thing I was really scared about because we only ever got flashes in the preview was this bear. I was like, they're going to show this bear and it's going to look terrible. It's going to look like a big green screen monster is like attacking Leo DiCaprio. But holy shit.
It went on for longer than I thought it was going to.
And it was intense. So, first off, the bear looked great. Yeah. I don't know what it was. I mean,
it looks really good. Yeah.
I want to know what was really maneuvering him. You know what I mean? Because clearly it wasn't a bear.
Mm-hmm.
So something was picking Leo DiCaprio up and like tossing him around
all
and
over,
shit.
Yeah.
And it looked so good, and it was intense, y'all. Like, and she's right. It went on much longer than I thought it was gonna.
Because it's like, what do you do in that situation anyway?
Right.
And you're pretty much gonna lay there.
Yep.
It was almost like he was getting raped by a bear.
Yeah, and then he could do nothing about it.
Could do nothing.
And you know, you think about that. You hear these stories and whatnot, and like I think everybody has this mentality in their head. It's like, well, I could get away. You know, it's like,
get away, bear,
dude.
Stop it, bear, right now. Come here.
It's not even. It's what did she say?
Come here, bear.
You're supposed to be hibernating.
Why are you eating my mouth?
Why, Mr. Bear? I'm gonna mace you right in the face.
Come here. What was she gonna do if it came here?
Oh God. Anyways, this bear scene was intense because it was just like.
I guess it was a perfect vision of what people would say would happen.
Yeah.
In a bear attack.
And you know, you look at it and you would expect, like, a typical movie, I think, would have been like the preview cut it, right? He turns, the bear attacks, and then it's cut to black, you know, cut to the his group, and then they hear some screaming or something, and then, you know, cut to, he's done all the damage already.
They put the work into it because they wanted to show that.
Right.
They didn't hide it.
No, they
like
did.
Other movies did.
Yeah, they showed the carnage that this bear was in. It was a sweat moment, man. A sweat moment for sure.
Because when you think it's over, it's like, no.
Yep. And you know he's just sitting there hoping, like, just go away, dude. Please, bear, just go.
I know,
away.
like,
just go away. Just go away. Please, God, just go away. And then the bear goes away, and then it's like. The bear starts to come back.
It's like, wait, no, you're supposed to keep going.
Oh, God, the dread, man, the dread. And they did such a good job of making it feel so real, man. Like,
yeah.
I felt that there was a 1,000-pound bear on this guy.
Mm-hmm. They're really good.
Fuck. Ugh. Other things where we got to see a really cool shot of some wolves chasing down a bison, and I tell you what, I didn't even see the wolves until it was happening. I was just so focused on the bison and the way they were moving, and that was another emotional moment for me where it was just like the imagery, it just caught me, and I was just like so into it. And then all of a sudden I see this wolf, and then so, you know, for me, like that was a huge moment for Leo DiCaprio's character, and because he's seeing like, this is what the wilderness is. This is what Mother Nature is, you know? These wolves getting this one bison out of the entire pack, you know? Oh, God, it's so good. I'm geeking out. I'm sorry. Let's talk about some of this amazing cinematography, and we'll kind of couple in the lighting with this because they really go hand in hand. So, on top of these like extremely awesome long sweeping shots, the way that they would frame these, to me, the way they'd frame some of these shots, like sometimes they'd be on a wide shot and they like that one shot with the Indian and Leo DiCaprio sitting down, and then behind them was just this expanse of snow, and they were just like, God, you're looking at them and you're looking at like how grand everything is.
Where were they? Is it like legit? Like, I mean, it had to been legit. Every single bit of it had to been like them.
I have a sneaky suspicion that they did some green screen work and on some of these shots that made them look more expansive than they were. But no, I mean, they would had to film the majority of this practically in, you know, the wilderness somewhere.
Iceland, Colorado.
So yeah, I would assume they had to film on location for the vast majority of everything. You know, like, but some of these shots that they would do, they just, you know, every 5 to 10 minutes, I felt like we were getting another shot of scenery, and that might be, you might think that'd be boring, but it wasn't boring to me, right? I mean, was it you ever?
Not so much. I mean, like I said, I feel like it sometimes took a little bit long time, but it was kind of like waiting on your screensaver to change in a little bit. And I'm not, you know, hating on it. I'm not saying that they weren't good shots or anything like that. It's just they were a little bit long.
Right.
But they were beautiful. They made you really take in the area.
See, every one of those shots for me was like the break from the insanity. You know what I mean? So it was wanted. I might have been more emotional without them, or who knows? Maybe that's what made me emotional in the first place. But they were awesome. So on the flip side of that, I want to talk about the lighting. So the cinematography was amazing, but the lighting for the most part, it all seems natural. Like especially anything outside at day, it all just feels normal. But specifically, what I want to mention is the shots that they did at night, and there weren't that many of them. But if you notice, they just let night be night. Versus like some of these other movies will get out with a gigantic condor and a huge ass light, and they'll blast the ground so that you have depth, and it looks like movie night, but it doesn't look like night, and the times when they were there, like if like the moments where they had the fire going or torches or anything, that was it, man. That was the light you got. They didn't like do this stupid like, oh, it expands out 300 feet with a torch in hand. You know what I mean? In a traditional movie, they would have overlit the shit out of anything that they had at night, and it would have been like you would have seen trees in distances you never would have seen them, and it just would have been annoying for me. In this, it was pitch black. And that's exactly how it should have been, unless it had a direct source, for like the fire around the pit or whatever. But like, again, in this, you would see them sitting around a fire, and then behind them, you would see nothing at night. It was just black. A lot of people, a lot of cinematographers or DPs would try to throw light on trees in the background so that there was some sort of depth. But that's just not the way that fires work. You know what I mean? And the moon, as bright as it is, doesn't cast that kind of a light onto trees. So. Anyways, it was something that I found I was really appreciative of. It's probably not something you paid a whole lot of attention to. So we'll move on. So the sound design in this movie and the score blew my socks off.
There were moments that I was kind of annoyed with some stuff. Like I was like, why is there music right here? Or I don't know. Like, I like the sounds that they incorporated, but sometimes the music, I feel like ramped up too much in certain parts that it didn't need to be ramped up in.
See, I thought it was perfect. It just like it. Typically I'm not like a huge fan of like guiding music that would make you feel a certain emotion, but it just, again, the way it was all laid together and I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Dollar.
And there are scenes throughout the entire film where you'll hear somebody whispering, presumably to Leo DiCaprio, that you don't know, like, is he acknowledging that there's something going on there? You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't know if it's something just for us to hear or if it's something for him to hear. But there were times where like you'd hear this whisper and you'd see him dart his head behind him and stuff,
Right.
And you couldn't hear what was saying most of the damn time, but you knew that at least I knew it was his wife, talking to him. Oh God! By the end of the movie, I was an emotional wreck. So actually, great segue. Let's talk about the ending. So do you want to describe what happens in the end?
Battle Royale. Legit Battle Royale. They basically end up in a fight against each other, but during this fight, it's so seamlessly put together with the way...
Man.
It was just like, legit, like, I'm cutting you, you cutting me, you chopping my hands off. And I feel like it's something that would actually happen in a life or death situation.
And I tell you,
of a fight.
With the way that they did the camera, I completely lost when they were cutting.
It was like you were in there with them, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, you very much felt viscerally in the fight.
And that's why I asked if that was just one shot, because it was slow enough to see what they were doing, almost like a dance.
It should have been.
Yeah, almost like a dance, but it wasn't like obvious that it was like a dance.
Right.
Like it was, this is happening type stuff, and it really blew me away because it was so intense to be able to see scenes done like that and look so natural.
Yeah. Man, I questioned the amount of rehearsal that they had to do with these scenes, because You know, you look at Birdman, and it's like clearly there was a lot of rehearsing that went on. But you look at something like this, the scale is amped by 1,000. You know, with like just adding a single horse to the mix of these timed shots, like increases the difficulty of executing those shots without a hitch by tenfold. You know what I mean? Like. And that's just one horse. You know, you see some of these shots where like 10, 15, 20 horses were coming out of the woods, and I'm assuming that they were all real because they all looked really amazing. So anyways, back to the ending, like there were the way that they moved the camera, and because like you got to be careful about not hitting your actor with a camera, for example. You know, like people can get really hurt doing these really long end ones. You know, and clearly they probably had like fake weapons, but just getting hit by a fake hatchet still does not feel good. You know, this movie is so impressively executed.
Just thinking about with the hatchet in the fingers, it's like they didn't cut right there.
Nope. They lifted the camera up and they looked at him, and then they cut to the wide finally. But yeah, I mean, there was.
I think the ending fight was worth it. You know how some movies you're waiting on the ending fight, you're like,
yeah, and then
boss fight, and it's like,
and you're just like, no, okay. Like, a gunshot to the head would not have been sufficient for what this movie was.
It was legit boss fight at the end.
It was, man.
Like,
it was.
This man needs some sensu beans the entire time. But now was the real time.
There was legitimate payoff by the end of the movie, I feel like, for the viewer. You know, like you felt good. You really felt good. Nothing felt cheap.
Right. Because everything felt so real and seamless. Now, I will say, so I don't know if you thought this, but so at the end, after the fight happens, the the group of savages show up, of course, with the girl that Leo saves. So it made me question, because their force behind this is that they're trying to find this one girl that was taken by two men. So was that the girl? And if that was the girl, that means the French had them the entire time?
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Because I was like, wait a minute. How did they not...
Absolutely. They stole the fucking daughter. Happened. Yeah, that's again like where part of like my emotion came from, is like the tragedy of this entire situation.
Like they went all around town massacring places trying to find their daughter or his daughter or their girl.
Chief's daughter or whatever.
Like they was cutting people up, and it was just like, because French people are apparently not nice in this movie and they're sneaky.
I mean, that was again like by the end of the film, I was like, God damn, man! Like this all happened because they trusted the Native Americans trusted the French, and the French are the ones who took the daughter in the first place, and that's what sparked like really this entire event. The only reason they got attacked at the beginning of the film was because of that, you know. And so like the Romeo and Juliet of it all, it fucking.
I'm just glad they didn't make a love story out of it or nothing weird.
Yeah, that would have been sad. That wouldn't have been okay.
But you know, at the end, it was the respect nod. Bye.
So the very, very end ends on this shot of Leo as he's looking at. I mean, I think. What do you think? Is he dead?
I don't think so.
You don't think? I think he's dead.
Although through all the happenstance that has happened, he should have been dead. Because let's be by the grace of God himself, this man was alive through the entire thing. So like I said, somebody toss him a sensu bean because he's about to lose it. But
see, I think he was bleeding out, and the last
maybe
thing
on the edge of it. Okay, I think he was just right on the edge of death.
And he legitimately breaks the fucking fourth wall, looks dead into the camera at the audience, and I lost my shit. I had to sit in the theater for.
I really loved that he did that. I feel like it was kind of be like, see, you see this right here?
It was.
This just did all this for you.
It was
You
amazing.
better recognize who Leo DiCaprio is. In case you forgot who he is, that's who he is.
It kind of sounded like you said Julio.
Julio
DiCaprio.
No. And I think it's well deserved. I think he should be able to do that because let's be real.
It was so good, man. Now, you have a couple gripes?
That was I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head. Like I said, the only gripe I really had was like the weird ramping sometimes.
Right.
But other than that, I just liked the survival of it all. Like, it made me want to go watch a whole bunch of Bear Grylls and learn how to survive up in this.
Right. So, I'm sure if I like delve deep and if I were to watch it again and like analyze it scene by scene, I could come up with some more stuff because every movie's like that. That's the only reason CinemaSins exists, for example. But there's one thing that really kind of bugged me that happened a few times, and it was with moisture getting on the lens of the camera.
I think they did it on purpose.
Well, I'm not saying that they didn't. I mean, like, clearly Leo breathing into the lens and it fogging up. See,
I feel like it made you realize that you were in the moment with him.
Yeah, but
it's cold out there.
That's the biggest reminder that you're watching a film in the first place. The second, now the first time the breath thing happened, I thought it was genius. The second time it happened, I was like, okay, well, you've already done that, and it was done right the first time. But then there were other times where, like, I don't like blood splatter, like hitting the camera and stuff like that, like. Especially not in a movie like this. In a war movie, it's one thing because they always make a war movie seem like documentary-like somebody's there filming it, and so it's believable. But in this kind of a film, that's something I wish they hadn't done. Did it ruin anything for me? Absolutely not. But if I have to like mention something that I was just like I wish they hadn't done it, that'd be the one thing. Other than that, though, I mean, I guess I can gripe about the believability of him not dying. I feel like.
Because there's a lot of time, like, by the grace of God.
There were times where you're like, there's no way he lives,
Especially the tree thing, he should have been chopped in half.
Oh, when he fell into the tree?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was and that was a big tree. I mean, the horse got all beat the fuck. I don't want to censor myself. You're going to censor me anyway. But, it's just so crazy. Like I said, somebody tossed up a sensu bean.
It is. That finishes it up for me. You? Boom. So, have you guys seen the film yet? If you haven't, you absolutely should. Make sure to let us know what you thought about this video in the comment section below. I guess one thing, I endorsed the film. You? Endorsed. All right, so I just wanted to in case you were wondering, this movie was amazing. Go check it out. And like I said, let us know what you thought about the video in the comment section below. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and SoundCloud. They can hit us up where else?
Movieholics.net.
And that's it, guys. Let's high five it out. Right here. Boom. All right.
Boom.